Well, yes, we are meant to live. Because we're living beings, of course we're meant to live. And livingness involves creativity and being alive and being awake, as Reverend Janet said. Beautiful. Yet, we are a species that can say no to our potential, to our creativity. We can even use our creativity for evil purposes because we have free will, we have choice. So we have to be sure in our life, if we're going to live fully the way God intended us to be, we have to be sure that we stimulate the creative energy that wants to live. Hildegard of Bingen, she was a 12th century abbess and a scientist and an artist and a mystic. And Matthew Fox wrote a beautiful book about her, and she's an amazing, I think she was an environmentalist, she cared for the earth, she's just a brilliant woman. And here's what she said about creativity. She said, God has gifted creation with everything that is necessary. Humankind, full of potentials, is God's work. We are the work of God. As Mother Teresa said, a pencil in the hand of God. We're here to do God's work. Humankind is called to co-create. God gave human the talent to create with all the world, yet the person shall never end. It just keeps being transformed and resurrected. I'll just say in that eternal, upward, ever spiraling potentiality, we're born with that inside of us. And she says, even so, their works are always visible. What a thought. She goes on a little bit, but what a thought that what we're creating today, whatever we use our mind to create, and she goes on to say, if it's good, it glorifies life and continues to make things better even after we create. That energy is there continuing to lift the world, lift us. Yet if we choose to use that energy of creation in a negative way, it remains also and keeps that negative energy in this world. It keeps it being fed. You know, it was Thich Nhat Hanh who said, inside every human being are both the seeds of violence. I could add to that the seeds of violence and hatred and negativity and slothiness, and the seeds of peace and love and creativity and goodness. The seeds you water and the seeds you nourish are the ones that grow. So to me, when I say I'm here to live, it means, no, it doesn't mean everything's going to be good and wonderful all the time, but it means that we have the intention to be on the path of goodness and connection and growth and understanding, that we're there to do that. You know, life is a journey of all different types of experiences. And we have to learn to make sense of life in order for us to have that path of being truly alive and awake. We can live, and it was Meister Eckhart that said so many people live with a lack of creativity because they have a lack of trust in themselves. A lack of trust in themselves. And as Reverend Janet was saying, how people can live not the real version of themselves, a limited, separate version of themselves. We can choose to do that if we don't have the trust in something more. Life is all about experiences, but it's not the experiences in life that make us happy or sad or fulfilled or unfulfilled. It's what we think about and our emotional reactions to the experiences. Two people may have the same experience. One will go on creating and understanding, and the other will be devastated and lost. Experiences can make us happy and sad, but we don't have to suffer with experiences. We will suffer if we keep those negative emotional responses and feelings about the situation. Have you ever been there and repeated a story over and over and over again, and you even heard yourself doing it and said, why am I doing that? But you couldn't stop? I have. And I really hate how much time I wasted on reliving a story and forgot the truth. The truth that we know there's always something more going on. If we can stay in the midst of a difficult time, if we can say, I am not going to let this experience rob me of the warmth and color of my life, because I know there's something more. There's something greater. There's something bigger at work. It takes a lot of focus and consciousness expanding to be in that power and intelligence, to be able to say during difficult times, which we've been in, I think, on that roller coaster, all of us this past year, to say, I'm not going to let this experience rob me of the color and warmth of who I really am. Because I know in the depth of my soul there's something bigger going on. And every spiritual genius has told us the first thing we need to do in our whole life is to go inside, to take solitude and go inside and find the indwelling spirit, that indwelling God and goodness and light and divine urge, whatever we call it, to find that and then seek the creativity that wants to be expressed. We might call it our heart's longing. What is it I really want to do with my life? What is it I want to do? There is no size. What little big thing do I want to do? And then do it. We have to stimulate and nurture our creativity. And Ernest Holmes said, the first thing to nurture the creativity in us is we have to know we are eternal beings. He said, I do not believe anyone can be happy unless they believe in the continuity of their own existence. He said the strongest emotion we have is knowing, absolutely knowing, that we are eternal. Because then we know that understanding of eternality can make our daily life more meaningful, because we are growing ourselves, because wherever we go, there we are. So on this journey, we take with us who we are becoming. That potentiality unfolding is what we take with us. So we need to realize, okay, the experiences in my life have meaning, and I need to absolutely open the channels to the creative expression of God. And that happens when I think the simplest way, for me anyway, to open the channels of creativity is to be grateful. To be grateful for the things around us, to be grateful for ourselves, to be grateful for life, because when we do that, we open up to more and more. We can be grateful and understanding, and then to understand our life is going to have joys and sorrows. And we need to participate in all of the experiences of life to fully live. It's from our good times that we can be ignited and filled, and from our difficult times that we can learn and grow and understand there's something greater. It's also in those difficult times that we can use that creativity for something new. You know, beauty is another way. Beauty is having a conversation with God. If you and I look at the beauty of whatever flower or whatever it is, let's just say the beauty of a rose. If we look with our internal eye into the heart of a rose, we'll see there's something more. There's a cause underneath the rose that is the idea of beauty. And when we see that idea of beauty, we can understand there's so much more than what meets the physical eye, but we have to be really willing to look deeper. You know, this creative process of life, as Hildegard of Bingen said, that creative process is about really coming together and working with everything in life. If we think about music that we've heard this morning, that awakens our soul, there's something more that music wants to tell us. If we listen, it's really telling us about the universal urge to harmonize life, to bring life together in a greater understanding. You know, we look at the piano and Kirk's not there. And the piano is just a lifeless instrument. The piano isn't the music. What that piano needs is the touch of someone who has that emotion and that musical genius to touch the piano and make the piano speak. And you know how music can make us cry, it can make us laugh, make us feel loved, bring back memories. But it's not the instruments that make the music. It's the inner urge of the musicians, the vocalists, to bring harmony into the world that we can understand what life is all about. And each of us have that gift inside of us that wants to be brought out to bring life together in a more beautiful way. But we have to step away from our self-doubt and our when we get discouraged. You know, I mentioned what Thich Nhat Hanh said about not, those seeds we have within us. And Jesus reminded us, he said, consider the lilies of the field. They do not toil, they do not spin. But even Solomon in all his glory was not dressed as beautifully as these. You see, the lily doesn't step back in self-consciousness and hide itself. It only knows to be beautiful, and it gives itself to life. And that's the same with us. If we can step into the knowing that we are here on purpose to give ourselves to life, that we stimulate that creativity, that understanding that we can fully live and be available to all that Spirit has to offer as us. We each have a part to play, and we are here on purpose. If you think about it, how many of you know how a flower grows? Well, I water it. You might give it some food. But how does it grow? How does a baby grow? How do we grow? We watch the process of God's work in action. Everything we see starts in the invisible, and we have to trust the process. We trust the process when we watch the flowers grow. We trust the process that something will be born. We have to have the same faith in ourselves, that we are here to grow and expand and let that potential take us on. Yes, there'll be a time that we are transformed and resurrected from this body into the next plane of existence, but we'll take that same potentiality at a new level with us. But we have to trust the process. I have a book called I Want to Live. I Don't Want to Live an Unlived Life, and it's by Donna Markova. And she says, I will not die an unlived life. I will not live in fear of falling or catching fire. I choose to inhabit my days, to allow my living to open me, to make me less afraid and be more accessible. To loosen my heart until it becomes a wing, a torch, a promise. I choose to risk my significance, to live so that which came to me as seed goes to the next as blossom, and which comes to me as blossom goes out as fruit. I will not live an unlived life. You know, I think a very important thing for us to remember, life is wild. It's not a static, easy, upward journey like this. It's wild, it's creative. It goes from joys to sorrows, to mountains, to valleys, to good, to negative, all of this. And if we can live that journey, we can live a life fulfilled. If we'll realize that in that wildness, there is creativity and there is sacredness. You know, I have a book called God is in the Flowers and the Fertilizer. Nice way of saying it, but we have to remember that there's purpose and meaning in life as a whole. And we're here to fully live. We're here to recognize we're not going to live an unlived life. We're going to live fully, and we're going to express ourselves so we can uplift ourselves and be the puzzle piece of life that we're meant to be, because we're all part of a big, beautiful tapestry of life. We each have a picture and a role and an energy to bring, and it's our job to do it. So, I want you to just think right now, what is my heart's longing just in this moment, because it changes and expands and grows, but what is it in this moment? And it's not something out there. It's in here. Remember, we live from the inside out. Ernest Holmes says life is a mirror and reflects back to us what we think into it, because our thoughts are creative, our emotions, our thoughts are defining our experiences. Anais Nin, who is a French novelist, said, you do not see life as it is. You see it as you are. So if we want a better life, if we want to feel more alive, we have to start changing our thoughts and our feelings about what is right now. There'll be no more God, no more good, no more love, no more joy, no more abundance than there is right now. Today matters. This moment is important. We need to open our heart. What is my heart's longing just in this moment? What is the color and warmth that your heart wants to bring to you and to this world? Ask that question. And if you can't come up with that right now, it's okay. You've opened the space. You can just say, what's good in my life? Just what's good in my life right now. Start thinking, okay, instead of thinking about everything that's wrong, because if we're thinking about what's wrong, it's going to reflect back more wrongness. So if we think about what's good in my life, right now, just what's good in this moment. It's good you're here. It's good we're together. It's good that we know beautiful teachings that can keep us awake and moving on this path, this journey of spiritual involvement. It's good, and it's very good that we have that right now. Yes, of course there's problems, because that's the balance. But if we focus on that goodness, what is good in my life, and to take care of this other part that's not so good, what needs to be done? What do we need to do out there that starts in here? In here. I want to take this time just to be in that place of gratitude and appreciation. Where we are now from where we were, how this journey we've traveled in a year, and where we're going. Things are getting better. And they're going to get better and better, because you and I have a piece to play in that evolutionary process of goodness. So let's just join in this moment in a prayer right now. We're going to end with that beautiful quote we started with this morning, and we're going to just live it and be it. But just let's take this moment, just with the bottoms of your feet, feel that where we're standing is holy ground. We're standing on God's or Spirit's beautiful nature, beautiful, wild, and growing. And let that feeling of your feet being on this earth, just imagine we're on the ground where there's grass or dirt or whatever, and just realize that that's the essence of growth and beauty and potentiality, and let it just just let it come right up your legs and fill your body and your heart and your mind with the seeds of growth, the seeds of potentiality, the seeds of what is it your heart desires? More love, more light, more goodness, more creativity, more motivation, more energy. What is it you need? Just fill yourself with it now, because we know we are at choice. And when we recognize that this is God's life, God's world, everything is made of that one energy, that one essence that we get to use in different ways. That energy is here for us now, and we can use it as abundance, as peace, as love, as possibility. And we let it fill us and feel it in our fingertips and in our mind, that we can use the energy of life to be the creative beings that we're meant to be. And just imagine yourself using that energy of creativity. So we're not planning to leave here unlived, but we're going to be used up. We're going to be used up, and we're going to allow ourselves to be fully available to the next experience, whether it be right here, right now, or when we pass on to this next eternal being. We're going to be ready because we're going to take each moment. We're going to live each moment, and we're going to say, I lived. And we know that to be our truth in this moment, as we know it to be true in every moment. We say, thank you, God, for all of this and so much more. And with that understanding, we release all our knowing into this infinite mind of God that only knows to say yes. And we seal this moment by saying, and so it is. So just cheer me on in this moment. Will you just say, for this moment, just say, I lived. I'm not done yet. You just wait. And so it is. God bless you all, and I love you so much. Take care.